Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming back to the Object Relations series. Today, I'm going to be speaking about a very special topic of mine on mourning and grief. I have specialized in mourning and grief for the whole, 45 years of my practice, my independent practice, and my teaching in the Object Relations Institute, which I founded, which is a state-chartered New York State Institute, the Object Relations Institute for Psychotherapy and Psychoanalysis. But mourning is something I work with in my private practice on many levels, and people open up to the tragedy and pain of loss, and sometimes tragic, sometimes just natural losses, sometimes separations, sometimes divorces, and sometimes just feeling the loss of things like we're feeling right now during the pandemic. We have losses of parts of our lives that we cannot continue in the same way. And that's what's inspired me to talk to you again about mourning and grief. I believe I have another recording on mourning and grief. It's a big specialty of mine. I have the theory of developmental mourning, and I've spoken about pathological mourning in terms of these demon lover complexes where you get addicted to a bad object that you hold on to and can't mourn, because you can only mourn loss when you have more love than hate for the other. When you don't, you can get to the place where you can mourn by dealing with the aggression in a symbolized way, feeling the feelings and putting it into words. By feeling the anger and hate, we can also get past it to the love we have for lost people. We can get to the grief and the loss for someone we love. And then there is the longing for parts of our life that we've lost during this time. I myself, not only being a psychoanalyst, who of course continues in all my practice with online work and phone work, I continue with all my patients. I also continue the Institute and teaching. I continue to speak as I am today for the public, as an object relations theorist, psychoanalyst, and clinical psychologist. I continue with all these professional work obligations and inspirations and creativity that I do, that I love. But I also have to mourn a part of my life right now. I hope it will come back, but I am an Argentine tango dancer. And now there is no Argentine tango. There's Argentine tango music. Occasionally my husband and I can do a little tango, but all the social life I had with Argentine tango has been lost. I used to be there at Milan, what we call the night of tango, the social evening of tango is called a milonga. I used to be at milongas 3 times a week. There was a time I was at them 5 or 6 nights a week. I've been doing Argentine tango for over 20 years. And now I cannot do it, and I cannot have my whole social environment with people who love the organic form of Argentine tango and love the social life of Argentine tango. It is gone during the pandemic. So I know what I mean when I say you have to mourn not only people, but you need to mourn what it is you're missing now, what the losses are in your life that create some sense of deprivation. If you can have symptoms of deprivation, you can get more anxious, more obsessional, have psychosomatic or hysteroid conversion things in your body as symptoms. You can become more filled with anger and rage than usual at this time because of the deprivation. But the mourning process can be very helpful to help people face loss and to name it, and to name what it is you're missing, and to feel the feelings the feelings of love for what you've lost, the memories. That's all part of mourning. Our memories are looking back at how we loved what we're mourning, not only a person, but it can be an activity like a dance, like Argentine tango, because Argentine tango isn't just any dance. It's the dance that most is based on connection. It has a million steps and patterns, but it doesn't matter how little of it you learn. The main thing in Argentine tango is all about connection. And that's an object relations point of view, because connection and resistances to connection are all what every session is about with object relations psychotherapy and psychoanalysis, connection with the inner self and with the therapist or with a group. So in tango, we connect directly with the frame. We have a frame just like you have in an analytic session. We have it in the embrace of the tango. So it's a literal physical holding embrace, like the holding environment. And we have then, while we hold a partner above and go through to the tango music, we also do things with our legs. And this is a beauty of Argentine tango. But the biggest thing is our connection with ourself, our partner, and ourself, our partner, and the music. The music is very important in Argentine tango. It comes from Argentina and from many generations of beautiful composers. So I have to say goodbye to all of that for now. I have to feel the mourning of that. I have to feel I'm not going out 3 nights a week now to join my tango friends. As I said, my husband and I do tango. We can do a little tango at home, but that's nothing compared to what we do and what I do with other partners on the Argentine tango floor. So I'm naming the thing that I'm mourning now. When I first was inspired to work with mourning and grief, it was because of my own mourning process with my father, because my father died when I was 10 years old. So that became a very big specialty of mine, to understand how important mourning and grief is to help people move on in their lives and to not self-sabotage by just holding back and clinging to the past. It's the mourning process that helps us open to the now, let go of the old bit by bit, and open to the new. And now at this time of the pandemic, I especially wanted to speak to people about this, because this is a time when everyone is feeling deprivation. We physically distance, we can have each other online and on the phone, but it is different than being in person. So we're mourning the loss of that physical, intimate, one-to-one contact, even though we can bring so much to our relationships and to the work as a therapist, online and on the phone. I know that I can tune in very deeply with these mediums to the other and to myself. But there is mourning for all the things we lost, and it's not just about treatment, it's about life. We've all lost parts of our life with the pandemic, and we can't gather in groups in person. We can eat outside, fortunately, now in New York State. We can eat out at outside tables. For a while. We couldn't even do that. But we have to keep proper 6 feet distance. We wear masks unless we're eating. So it's a very different life, and there's a mourning of the grief of having lost our familiar life till we have to adjust to this new normal. And uncertainty is the day. This is the day of uncertainty. We don't know when things will return to what we used to see as normal. We don't know. It is uncertain, and it is day to day that we have to open our hearts and minds to live with uncertainty and to create from all the feelings that uncertainty brings up, and to mourn the losses of that which we can no longer have, at least for this time and for an uncertain period. So I just wanted to share my thoughts about the pandemic experience today and help you see how the naming of things that we're losing helps us mourn, the memory of it, the feelings of it. It's all part of mourning. We have to name and give words, symbolic meaning to that we lose, so we can keep it with us psychologically and make it a cherished part of ourselves, even if we say goodbye to the actual person or the actual experience for now. We still can cherish what we have had and be grateful for it by putting it all into words, which is what we're all about as psychoanalysts, as psychotherapists, and as object relations theory people. Understanding that connection is the most meaningful motivation in human experiences towards connection. And then we have to deal with losses. If we yearn for connection, we always have to deal with loss. So mourning is something I specialize in, and I wanted to share my thoughts about mourning and grief. Going back to the time of mourning my father to now mourning the experience, the very full life experience of dancing, my dance of Argentine tango. I love continuing my work the way I am, and I am opening to uncertainty with you all. Take care in this time. Thank you very, very much. And I know I'll see you again in other YouTube videos. Enjoy this one. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. Elena.